right, we should be live for another week of our show, Indie Inquiries, where we review and examine indie game store pages and marketing to provide advice to developers. I'm, of course, Josh Bycer from Game Wisdom, and my co-host, as always, from Nexus Games, Sharky. How you doing?
I'm trying to get your camera working because it's not working.
Uh-oh. Well, we'll see. It's been, while Shark is fixing things on his end, it's been one annoying week as we are in the middle of a snowstorm here on the northeast. And probably the south as well. There's snowstorms everywhere. And I'm hoping my internet and YouTube stay stable for today's stream.
Yeah. I mean, I'm doing okay besides camera issues and, development hell with my game. Because sadly, that's been a thing, and it's been a thing for a while, but it's rearing its ugly head really big and bad right now. So yeah, it's rather difficult. But yeah, I mean, we never get snow here. We often get a good bit of ice, but we never get snow. And this is one of the few years where we have like tons and tons of snow. We have, I don't know, like probably something like 5 or 6 inches of snow. Which is amazing because usually we have 5 or 6 inches of ice. And I would rather have the snow any day over the ice.
Yeah. Alright, so for those of you new watching this episode, each week we pick games as well as get them submitted from developers to look at their store pages from top to bottom and give them a grade. If you are working on an upcoming or recently released game and could use some help, please get in touch with either one of us. You'll find links to our respective Discords, Twitters, and all that in the descriptions of each of our videos.
Yep, as well as to each of our YouTube channels, which you can watch on both sides. Can I get test in your chat? Make sure your chat's working.
Sure. Let's see.
Because I know how sometimes your chat doesn't work.
There we go.
Yeah, there it is.
Alright. But while everybody is snowed in right now, we have some games to look at. We have 3 on the docket for tonight. We're going to start with the game Come Pressure. This was sent to me by the developer, and hopefully they're watching this record, as I know time zones are a pain.
Uh-oh, and this is broke too.
Uh-oh. Alright, let me know when you're ready to watch the video.
Okay, let's go for the video of Come Pressure.
There we go. Music seems to fit. Very industrial.
Yeah, I need to turn my music up.
Now I can already, unfortunately, see a problem.
And which problem is that? That they're only using one clip all the way through?
That it's very hard to know what is going on with this.
That too. And there's no like text or anything that tells us what's going on. Like set up your, your oil supply, set up your water supply, process your oil and water into, whatever,
There's no call to action at the end either.
Yeah. And it's 57 seconds long, which, it could definitely be shorter.
Or more informative for that amount of time.
But it needs to be both. Well, it needs to be more informative, but it could be shorter.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I think the sweet spot for trailers is in the 30 to 45 seconds range.
Mm.
But that's just a general rule, not a hard rule, because like you can make a really good, minute and a half long trailer,
Yep.
but it has to be a really good minute and a half long trailer.
Mm-hmm. Now, with a game like this, it's kind of hard to tell if the footage, the screenshots, were also used in the trailer.
Well, the second one definitely wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
The first one wasn't either.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
The third one could have been. I can't tell. The fourth one definitely wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
The fifth one wasn't. Yeah. So if any of them were used in it, it was only one.
Mm-hmm. Now, I did like how he didn't use a black screen and text for the trailer. All the text was overlaid over the gameplay footage.
Yeah, but there wasn't enough of it.
Yeah. I feel like this is a game that definitely needs at least a gameplay trailer or
Yeah.
gameplay tutorial trailer.
Yeah, and the other issue is that font that he used, it looks plain and generic.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what they're going for. They're going for a muted, low saturation art style with this.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue is that when I look at everything they have here in the gameplay, nothing stands out because it's all muted because of that color palette.
Mm-hmm.
And like it might have been good to make some pipes a different color, like orange pipes or blue pipes or something along that line.
Mm-hmm.
Or make them all windowed, or more of them windowed, kind of thing, where you can actually
Mm-hmm.
see the fluid inside. Because like some of these you can see like black stuff inside, and others you can't see anything inside. So you can't. It's harder to tell what is actually even happening here.
Yeah. And when the trailer ends, or it technically ends at like the 52-second mark, they could have put, like wishlist on Steam, check it out now, coming soon. Like, there's a lot of like opportunity to have a call to action for those last 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the game is definitely going for the Zachtronics very complicated vibe to it, but I think it lacks the aesthetics that Zach has kind of really pushed with some of his later games.
Yeah, and also like I think like some sound effects in the trailer would have been nice. Unsure what sound effects are in the game, kind of thing, but
Mm-hmm.
I would hope there's some good sound effects in the game when you build this stuff out. So like
Mm-hmm.
using those sound effects to in the trailer, at least at certain parts, would probably be good. You wouldn't want like 5 billion sound effects in there, kind of thing, but you
Mm-hmm.
would want a few critical ones.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to scroll down and let's see what's going on with the early access. So, less than a year, 2 stages, current simulation engine, all playable. Don't plan to change the price. Just like your standard early access. We have a demo right in front center at the top.
And the price is $4.99, $5. That's a problem. Because the thing with games that are cheap, they're normally not worth the value.
So the about this game is kind of interesting, as instead of going for standard marketing, it seems like the developer put the tutorial in the about this game section. Walkthrough, right click to end. On one hand, I like this idea, but on the other hand, I don't feel like this is really selling the game.
Yeah. I think you should. I think you should have a tutorial video on it, explaining the gameplay and whatnot, and save down here for the more polished stuff. Which I mean, some of the stuff is the more polished stuff. You know what I mean? But I would not use it as a tutorial. I would use it as showing what you're talking about. In the most polished sense. Issue is this game, the way it is right now, it really lacks polish. And this is one of those games that's very, very hard to polish. Because I mean, what do you do? And that is something I don't know off the top of my head. If I was developing it, I would make sure to figure it out. But
this is the
way it stands now is I couldn't make any suggestions on what to do.
And this is the problem you have with games like this. Is when I spoke with Zach Barth, we had this whole discussion about, like, he knows his games aren't going to be the next Five Nights at Freddy's or the next that Viking game people are talking about, or Death Stranding, or anything like that. And this is what makes it very hard to market these games. Like, I'm sure there are people out there who, as much as they love a Zachtronics game, would play something like this.
Yeah. This is the issue you come into with almost anything turn-based. Because anything turn-based, where, you're not, you can't just clearly show action. It's so much harder to market things like that.
Yeah. Unless because
anything with action, just show an action shot. You're done. Just show the most outrageous, boss fights and action shots, and you're done. You know what I mean? Where with anything turn-based, the actual gameplay is you sitting there thinking about it, and showing a screenshot of somebody sitting there racking their brain on what move to make next does not make an entertaining trailer, does not make an entertaining screenshot, does not make entertaining anything.
Unless you already have that fan base. But again, it's what's that expression, putting the cart before the horse or whatever. That, you have to have the fan base to already love your game so that the trailer can sell them on something that they already know.
Yeah.
That's not slightly extreme. That's just, a catch-22.
Yeah.
And again, I think for this game, and this is what makes it very tricky, because we can't use like the standard, like our standard review process or our standard way of looking at these things on a game like this, because we can't suggest have exciting graphics and gifts because it's a puzzle game about Steam. I think, like I said,
well, I don't know. Like, I mean, like, if they could put exciting animations in here to a point, because, like, you can make it when Steam escapes or whatever kind of thing, it plays this huge animation kind of thing where, you see this spout of steam coming up and, like, just everything going wrong and, like, a red alert going off and all this other stuff. I mean, you could put that into your game. And that is something he could definitely show.
Yeah. I mean...
But he'd have to put it in there before he could show it.
Yeah. I mean, we complain when developers don't have enough GIFs. And he definitely has GIFs to spare here.
Oh, yeah.
I just think that this whole section should be a video. Like, and maybe, I don't know, like, again, it's hard to know about how marketing to, like, a puzzle turn-based crowd versus an action or, very aesthetic focused audience.
Yeah. I would say that, it not only needs to be a video, but it needs to be a video with voiceover. You know,
Yeah.
telling people what's happening, how it's going on, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. And, and also do not, rely on that video to be your entire tutorial for your game.
Mm-hmm.
But, make a tutorial, a rough tutorial that way to get people on.
Yeah.
And maybe keep it on the short side, you know what I mean? And then maybe have an in-depth tutorial in the next video after that,
Yeah.
like a short tutorial, here's the basics, with this, everything you need to get started kind of thing. And then another tutorial, here's the stuff where you can get to the nitty-gritty and really get into it, you know what I mean?
I'm just making sure that it is actually live, because it's been very quiet here. Hopefully people are able to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, definitely needs a tutorial video. Maybe, as you said, like 2 or 3. Now, I went down to the reviews, and apparently one of the testers have left something, and they even said the game is kind of hard to learn. So, that is unfortunately a red flag.
Mm-hmm. And it's something that the developer definitely needs to work on, making it easy to learn. And some of that will be UX design. Some of it, well, pretty much all of it will be UX design. UX tutorial, because tutorial is pretty much under the UX design.
Onboarding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't think there's anything else I'm thinking about to say. Are you ready to give it a grade?
Well, I have a few more things to say. Like I said, he could add some animations, like the steam popping out and all this other stuff when things go wrong. And maybe you should, make several animations and several things when things go wrong and when, all that kind of thing. And, be able to capitalize on that when it comes to making your store page.
Hey, Soren.
And also, it will give your game more feel to it.
Yeah.
And
I would say, like, one thing, like to build off of that,
mm-hmm.
like, similar to Factorio, like, when Factorio has, like, gifts, of, like, massive productions or, what you can build up to, I think this game could really use a GIF like that. Like, show me what an advanced version of this looks like. Like, show me, all the bells and whistles going off, steam going everywhere, all the parts working in alignment, something along those lines.
Issue is I think he may have already showed it to us.
Maybe.
Those screenshots. But the issue is it doesn't pop.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the issue. Is I think he's going to have to work on polish in the game like that to be able to make a good Steam page.
Yeah. And this is, of course, the challenge when we look at these games, that you're working with what you have in your game, or you're working with the tools that you developed. So if your game has really strong aesthetics and really pops, that makes it a hell of a lot easier to design a store page compared to if you don't. Like, if you remember the game we looked at last week, the one was submitted by the person who was on your chat, that the early screenshots were kind of rough. And with that art redesign, it looks so much damn better.
Oh yeah, and it wasn't. He didn't change much. It was just the characters.
Yeah.
And it was just changing the shape, but it gave it just so much worlds more style kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
But like these pipes, they all feel kind of generic. They all kind of blend in together. Even the special parts kind of blend in together. There's nothing that really makes them pop. Like like when you look at like the intersection blocks, like in screenshot, look at the third screenshot. You see the intersection blocks where you have the directional arrow with the little orange thing. The issue is that orange does not pop, partly because there's orange on the pipes as well as blue on the pipes. Like he's using every one of his colors. He's using such a limited palette that he's using basically or literally all of his colors on the pipes. Therefore, he doesn't have any other colors for the other parts, kind of thing. And that's an issue, that he needs to address. Like, he can't. He needs to really differentiate the other parts and make them pop. You need to make things pop. And I mean, you could possibly do that with that same color palette, but it would be very, very hard. I would honestly suggest expanding the color palette. Yeah. And he probably doesn't want to do that, but if he can possibly do it without expanding it, but it's going to be hard. So if he doesn't expand the palette, he's up for a nightmarish uphill battle, where if he does expand the palette and everything, it could be really easy for him.
Yeah. I mean, as a point of comparison, I just put up Space Chem on my side, and Space Chem at this point is 10 years old. And even being that old, the screenshots still pop. You may not know exactly what's going on in them, but there's just a lot more color to them. It stands out a lot more to somebody's eyes.
Well, yeah, because he's using I think he's using
red,
5
blue,
or 6 colors in the entire image.
Yep.
All of it. It's a 5-6 color palette kind of thing, and he went with a really minimalistic palette, which I think is shooting himself in the foot at this point, and I mean, he could get it to work, but it's going to be nightmarish to get it to work like this. And,
I bet you the reason why he did that is for the low price. Like a $5 game, I think he knows that this is not going to be a massive seller. I mean, even Zachtronics' games aren't massive sellers. But it again raises that point about, do I spend $4.99 on a game like this? But what if I, spend $9.99 on something even better than that? Or, $14.99, as we're talking about, as being the new minimum for a lot of indie developers.
No, that's actually the old minimum.
Yeah. Now it's the
new minimum's going to $19.99
or $24.99.
That's not the minimum, but that's a more regular price.
Yeah. But other than a complete aesthetics overhaul,
I wouldn't say complete. I would just say that he needs a bigger color palette, and needs to make different parts pop out from other parts, kind of thing, and put in animations and polish and everything for when things go wrong, when things don't work out, whenever red alerts and all kinds of other stuff, and whatever he can do on that side. And I don't know if he has anything like that in his game, but that's what I'm picturing from this. Anyway, he needs to find out where he can go with that.
It sounds like the back end, the simulation, the actual mechanics are done. So this could very well be a case of, somebody being programming design first, art and aesthetics third or fifth down the line.
Yeah, and the problem is you want the inverse.
Yeah, especially for consumers.
Yeah. You want the inverse to sell your game. Because, it's art and aesthetics that sells.
Yeah.
And this really lacks on it. And it's also polish that sells. And, this lacks in that department, at least that we can see. He may have polish and aesthetics that is not shown in here. But from what we've seen, there is no polish. There is no aesthetics. Well, there is aesthetics. It's just not... It's not bad aesthetics, but not bad aesthetics in a commercial sense is horrible. It's not bad aesthetics is, I managed to jump, 2 inches. When you find out that, jumping 2 inches is not bad, kind of thing. I mean, you could jump over a rope at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you're trying to jump for your life with a tiger chasing after you, and those 2 inch jump jumps you right into a branch that trips you over, falls, and turns you into tiger bait. Yeah, that's what commercial life is. You need to jump like 20 or 30 feet. You need to surpass Michael Jordan kind of thing.
So
in order to be able to do commercial properly.
So I think with that, let's try and give this a grade. So trailer wise, I mean, it's not the worst trailer we've seen. And again, for a game like this, I don't know, like
it needs more cuts in it. It needs more text. It needs a text to stand out. It needs more sound effects. It needs polish from the game actually in here. But there doesn't seem to be any polish in the game. It needs the art in there, but and it needs cuts. Like, he shouldn't just, at least I don't think he should be, just showing us one build as it progresses kind of thing. He should probably show us one starting out build, and then cut to another build that's more elaborate, and then cut to another one that's more elaborate, and then maybe go to a more simple one, and then go to one more elaborate, and then go to one crazy kind of thing, or maybe even start out with one crazy, and then work down from there.
Yeah. And again, he needs at least a second gameplay tutorial trailer for sure.
So the tutorial, the tutorials, the trailer, I don't know. I would give that, I don't know, like a D plus C minus.
I was thinking in the C range myself, like maybe C minus C. It's not bad, but it's just average. And again, average is not good for a lot of developers these days.
Yeah, the average game on Steam doesn't sell and fails horribly. The average game on Steam gets probably less than less than 100 sales. So being average is being a failure essentially.
So trailer we're giving around a C range, C minus, or around there. Rest of the page, I mean, it's assuming he redoes it after I mean, the screenshots aren't bad for what he's got, but again, he needs more polish and art in the game, and that really kills the screenshots kind of thing. So I mean, the screenshots themselves are, I think, pretty good kind of thing for what he's got, but seeing how the issues he's got with the art and the polish kind of thing, the screenshots really lack, kind of thing, because of that fact. And because of that fact, I would say his screenshots, if his other stuff was in, tact and everything, I would say his screenshots are probably like an 8. You know what I mean? But since they aren't, they're probably I don't know, a C minus D. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think for me, all around, I feel this is a C store page. Nothing is again, it's not horrible. We've seen horrible examples of store pages, but nothing here is, I think, selling me on this game.
And you have to be sold to, or else you're not going to buy it. The thumbnail, though, I think that's a really good thumbnail.
Yeah,
I would give that thumbnail an A minus.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think B plus A minus. It sticks out. It's uniform. It's probably the best thing, I think, aesthetically on this page.
Yeah, it's his strongest point, I think, right here in his thumbnail.
And I think one other point about that, the pipes on how the lettering is, it looks more impressive than the pipes that are in the game, where it looks like it's sticking out a little bit more.
Yeah, that's because it has a darker background behind it.
Yeah.
And, maybe that's something he needs to do in the game because, like, he has a far lighter background, so there's far less contrast between the pipes and the ground. And, maybe there definitely needs to be more than what he's got right now.
Yeah. He also needs. There's no contact about social media in his info pane.
Yeah, the info pane, he gets a F minus for his info pane.
I don't think there's any tags either. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Here it is. Casual simulation strategy early access.
And programming.
Yeah. So I think.
I think that he needs a couple more tags.
Yeah. I think
for his about this page, he's got plenty of gifs, but it's a tutorial. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I like that it's that he gives a tutorial, but I don't think this is a place for it.
Yeah.
And I would say that he did well by getting a lot of gifs, but I think the context of the gifs because of the tutorial discredits a lot of that. And the fact is he's not really showing off gameplay features down here. Mm-hmm. And
nothing
so I would say that's probably like a C.
Yeah. C minus. Yeah. So I think overall, I feel like we give this store page a C minus. C minus.
I think I would give it a D plus.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
But the issue is see, a lot of that stems from the game itself. Not the gameplay, but rather the art in the game, the art and polish in the game, because the art and polish in the game is what's really killing a lot of this stuff. Because if he had art and polish in the game kind of thing, then the screenshots that he had would have gone from a C or C minus to like an 8. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The trailer would have definitely gone up a few grades, and the about this game would have gone up by a few grades. Art and aesthetics, your polish and everything, like those are like the absolute key to everything on your store page, because if you fail those, you fail everything on your store page.
Yeah. I mean, again, the thumbnail is really nice. I think it fits the tone and theme of the game perfectly. But once somebody clicks on it and sees this, I think it's going to be a hard sale. And I feel like this game is being marketed towards the same audience as Zachtronics' titles. And they don't care about aesthetics. They care about, the complexity and the challenge. But it falls in that same, I was just saying about like the whole getting over, rage game thing. That people have tried to copy Getting Over. In many cases, they've made better versions of that game. But they have sold nowhere near that amount because that was the first one. And this is, I think, the same issue we have here, is that this could be an amazing, very complicated game. Perfect for someone who likes Shenzhen.io and Space Chem. But
it's also the ones that YouTubers picked up, and the reason why Getting Over it became popular is because YouTubers picked it up, mainly. And when when every YouTuber under the sun picks up Getting Over it, but nobody or only one person picks up, for one episode picks up your game that is like Getting Over it, but better kind of thing, and then goes right back to Getting Over it, you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. So I think ultimately the major advice is, I think this game needs an aesthetics second round here, or art polish.
Yeah. And I think the main key to that would be expanding the palette to a larger palette, so that he has more colors to work with, because colors seem to be his number one enemy on this.
And again, I would also throw in another, regardless of if you do an art pass or not, you definitely want a tutorial trailer, I think.
But I think that at a bare minimum, he should do at least something art-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do, update your store page.
Yep. You don't want old art on a page if you have brand new ones on there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think I'm ready to move on. What about you?
Yep. So which one do you want to move on to?
Let's do Chroma.
All right. Let's go to Chroma.
All right. So this came out, what, about 22 days ago? This is one that's been on my list of games. The developer reached out like a long time ago when it was still in, I think, early access. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet because it is the whole like free to play thing. I think is a little iffy. I think for a lot of people, but let's take a look. Oh, we got 2 trailers. Are you ready to look at them?
Yep.
All right, loading up the first one now.
All right, your turn.
All right, so this is a 4-minute long trailer. I think I'm gonna fast forward through some of it. All right, so this is
Fast forward through the trailer.
yeah.
We got to get the whole thing.
We'll be here for another hour. Alright, so this looks like story trying to narrate over like the actual gameplay.
Mm-hmm. You can see the game's 2.5D, just like my game is.
Mm-hmm.
It had a big flowy mane and a giant mouth in its stomach, and the village hero was just a lowly squire. Shekmati found the beast at the heart of town, surrounded by common folk. But
The emojis during combat look a little out of place.
monk stopped him.
Yeah.
He said, "Look." And suddenly, the Ontifage pulled a fiddle from his fur.
My
and started
problem with
playing.
this trailer is that it's not selling me on this gameplay.
Yeah, it's way too long.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. So all their talking, all their narration is like nothing to me right now.
Yep. I mean, they should have probably kept this to like just a short intro with the characters. Maybe a short outro, maybe something short in the middle, but not like, 15 cuts in that are each a minute or 2 long.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem like a minute or 2 long. They're not actually a minute or 2 long, but they feel like it.
This feels just way too long. Like, I've already lost interest in this game.
What's your story?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to watch the rest of this trailer. That's the problem. It's just... Okay, so if we go to the... Where's this start? 1 second.
I mean, this might have worked for like a story trailer, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 2 minutes and 58 seconds is when we actually get to, like, a trailer. You know, we have text on screen. It's trying to sell us on this game. And that's not bad. Like, the art looks really nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, 2 minutes and 57 seconds of this trailer is, like, useless to me. Oh, but here's the problem. If you look at the, like, 3-minute and 22 mark, or actually a little bit before that, 3:20, they're just throwing all these words on the screen. I can't even read it that fast.
I'm not to that part yet. Let me get, I'm almost there. Oh, wow. That is way too short.
Yeah. It does have a
You're
call
like
to
a
action.
speed reader, and you can't even read that.
Yeah, like,
I
even
got,
like,
like 2 or 3 of them, maybe?
if I can't read that, you have a problem. It's way too fast of text.
Yeah, because you're the one always fast-forwarding
Yeah.
through the text.
Yeah. If I can't read it, that's a problem.
Uh-huh.
Alright, so what is the second trailer?
You ready for it?
Why
Yeah.
would our mother abandon us?
So
Alright,
this is a
let's go.
minute 7.
Maybe she's tired. Or she's angry.
Art is
or she's got
okay,
something
like,
better to do. Maybe she's dead. Frankly, I don't care. The question is not why did she leave. The question is, what do we do next?
Alright,
Do
so
we gather
another
to protect
story.
each other from our fraying reality? do we weave the world's chaos into great, beautiful...
So my problem with this trailer is that none of this is actually in-game.
Yeah. At least it probably isn't. I mean, it could technically be in a story mode or something in a campaign, but
Yeah.
it's, probably not.
With me.
Yeah. So I don't think there's any gameplay in this trailer.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, mate, like to join us?
And there's also no call to action at the end of either one of the trailers, I don't think.
Well, the first one did have, go check it out on Steam. It's in the description, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but in the description of what? It's in the description of the Steam page?
Yeah.
It's in the description of the YouTube channel that you release this on? Is it in the description of a Twitter post that you made? Is it in the description of the Facebook post? Is it in the description of the advertisement that you put on YouTube? I mean, where is that?
Yeah. I mean, the art that's in this looks really nice.
Yeah.
But those two trailers were not selling me on this game. I think a lot of people probably pulled the ripcord maybe like 30 seconds into that first trailer.
Yeah, probably sooner than that.
Alright. So I'm going to scroll down. Let's take a look. Send the Loom School Land.
I've ran into this problem myself on my game because nobody plays a multiplayer game for the story. Nobody wants the story to interrupt their multiplayer game. You know what I mean? So putting the story in a multiplayer game is a red flag. But, I have worked my way around it. You know what I mean? And, there's specific ways that you can do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And specific ways you definitely do not want to do it.
Yep. And, like, the Hearthstone exam will be another one that, it's a tavern, people are playing cards. Okay, that's our setup. Run with it. Like, we don't need a 30-minute long trailer to explain why people are sitting in a tavern wanting to play this game. And
we're going down to the About This page now?
Yeah, and I think one last point about the trailer itself. I feel like the first trailer should have been split into two. Like, the 2-minute 58 mark, that 2:58 to the end could have been the first trailer of the game.
Yeah, that would have been far better.
And then say the very story, very cutesy, memey trailer as maybe like the third trailer. And then the story one that's second, leave that as second.
Yeah. So basically turn the first one into your, the second half of it into your first trailer and the first half into your third trailer.
All right, so let's go down. So it has custom banners. That's a plus. Play. You'll never need to buy a card back again.
It has one custom banner that is reused.
Yeah.
Brother. Not custom banners, a custom banner. And
So,
it has no GIFs at all.
no images. And here's a very big point. If you look at the So How Do You Make Money part, the store and Chrome offer daily deals on a wide variety of cosmetics. Well, that's great. You should really show them. It's like saying, we have this amazing thing for you to buy. We're not showing it to you. So it's going to have a battle pass. Yeah. So, I mean, if you are trying to sell me to spend money on your cosmetics, I kind of need to see them.
Yep.
Because if you look at these images up here, the screenshots, what am I buying?
Probably the profile icons and maybe card backs and alternate card fronts.
Yeah, but I need to see, like, this would be a really good place to have a GIF or images showing me, what's the normal version? What's your premium version? What's your super duper premium version?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's something that you also need to think about in Neon Continuum. Like, if that's going to be where you market your game, that's going to have to be on the store page.
Yeah. Well, that's not where I'm marketing my game. My game is not based off of cosmetics, selling cosmetics. My game is based off of selling everything, and everything is free.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is free, and you use the currency to buy it that you earn in game. And the main thing we do is we sell more of it.
Yeah. But if you do have custom art, custom card backs and whatever, that needs to be on your store page. Because that's where you're going to pop, and that's also where you're going to stand out from everybody else.
And also, some of the stuff we sell is not just cosmetics, but cosmetic systems. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where they can, change the color. It's a add-on that when they buy it, they're able to change the color of their neons.
Yeah. And again, that's visual. That's aesthetics. That should be on a store page.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so this store page, it is for all the polish and art on those screenshots, none of that is on the store page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the about this page is about one of the most dry store pages I have ever seen, especially for something that is
supposed to pop,
juicy in the everything else.
Yeah.
They have all the colors everywhere at the top, and then when you get to the about this page, there is nothing but the blue.
They took the time to make a custom style for their various sections.
But they're all the same.
Mm-hmm.
They're all plain.
No images, no. And this is the point. The last game, if we go back to Calm Pressure, his About This Game section shows you how you play this game. It shows you what this game is all about. This shows me nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what this game is. I don't know how to play it.
Yeah.
Why should I think about this game? And this is exactly what you don't want as a store page. And if you look at the Steam, the reviews, it only has 430 reviews. I don't think this game is bringing in the money for them.
Yeah.
Even if it is free to play, I don't think there's a huge audience of people playing it right now.
Yeah, I think that, and it's only 81% positive, which is, only 11% away from being mixed.
Someone saying not very polished.
I think it's 70 or 71 when you become mixed.
Slow games, static screens.
The team really needs to work on their wording and how they do this, because very positive should not be 11% above mixed. You know what I mean?
And there's a major red flag. If you look at the reviews, a lot of people are complaining about the tutorial being horrible. So there seems to be an onboarding problem as well. And yet and this is just a very weird,
not very polished too.
Yeah, this is just a very weird transition of going from Calm Pressure to Chroma. I bet the developer of Calm Pressure would kill for an aesthetic like this in his game. But this game has an impressive aesthetic and art, but doesn't seem to be doing anything with it.
Yep. And it's sad, they're almost like polar opposites kind of thing. One seems to have, the game pretty much, at least it seems, to have the game down pat, and issues with the aesthetics and polish and everything. This one seems to have the aesthetics and polish pretty much down pat, but issues with the game and stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's kind of Shark likes his analogy. I guess here's my analogy. It's like if you're going to war, and if you have a strong aesthetic to it, it's like bringing all the tanks and Gatling guns and airplanes that you need. and making it a lot easier for you to win. If you don't have that, it's like going to war with sticks and stones, and you just bring a knife to a tank fight.
Yeah. But the issue is that this one seems to be like issuing no orders to his tanks and stuff, so they're just sitting there taking hits, kind of thing.
It's me playing StarCraft, basically.
Where the pitchfork villagers are going out there and fighting their hardest, kind of thing.
Yeah.
The question is which one is better? Is it better to have tanks that are doing basically nothing, or is it better to have villagers with pitchforks fighting with all their might?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the tanks win, because even if the tanks are basically doing nothing, when they accidentally fall asleep at the wheel and hit the button kind of thing and fire a cannon shell, it does a lot of damage kind of thing. And you hit the tanks with the pitchforks all day, and you're only going to do damage to your pitchforks.
Yeah, and so a lot of people are complaining about performance issues, tutorial issues, onboarding.
Mm-hmm.
This is not what you want to see in a competitive or multiplayer style game.
Nope.
So
you also don't want to see, a 20-minute story trailer on a multiplayer only game. Or at least I assume that it's multiplayer only. It may have a single player campaign in it or something.
Strategic gameplay.
But a multiplayer focused game. I mean, a little bit of story is fine, but you want to bring the story in with the gameplay too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what I'm going to do with my trailer is, when I make it, is it's going to be an animated story trailer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, the story is going to go right into the gameplay.
And just for the heck of it, I found it loaded up. It says games like this, Shadowverse, which I know is a very popular CCG.
Mm-hmm.
If I go to their store page, still no art to it, but again, it's that same thing about, if you're already big and famous, you can get away with that. If you're not big and famous, you have to work your butt off to do it.
Yep.
So, really, there isn't much more to say in terms of what's on the store page, because there really isn't. It needs images, it needs GIFs. It needs to show me what this gameplay is.
It needs a better trailer.
Mm-hmm. So, I think I'm ready for a grade. What about you?
And also, to point out, this has 2 publishers, apparently. It has Philip Bamgart and Whisper Games. Yet, they have done this really crappy job with this trailer and this store page. So what good are these publishers? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, did they provide all the funding for the game?
Yeah, and there's no contact information in the title pane.
Yeah, and how much marketing did they do when they did this crap job on the store page?
Yeah.
It calls into question these publishers themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you give a publisher a large percentage of your money if they're not going to do what they can to make you succeed? Because maybe you and I should publish games. You know what I mean? And all we'll do for publishing is just help them make a good store page and tell them to get a good trailer and whatnot. And honestly, that would probably be more helpful than a lot of these publishers are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And here's another problem with how they're selling this game. All the screenshots that show cards in it, I can't even read the text. It's so zoomed down. The text is so small.
Well, it's not the zoom. It's not that the text is too small. It's the fact that there is no contrast on that text. That text is not black, but a really light gray on a very light gray background kind of thing. There's not enough contrast there. It's like It's like trying to read invisible ink, basically.
Yeah, so this is a store page that literally does everything it can not to show you what the game it is that it's trying to sell you.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so I think I'm ready for my grade. What about you?
Yeah, let's start. So the thumbnail, I give that an A+.
Yeah, that's again, art and aesthetics are this game's strong point for sure.
Mm-hmm. The first trailer, I mean, like, the second half of it was pretty dang good, but the first half should have been the third trailer. So, I mean, like, I give the trailer, like what? I don't know, like a C?
I was thinking more like in the D range for me, because I didn't want to watch that trailer.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I'll give it a D+.
Yeah, I think for me, just solid D.
And the second trailer was better, but it didn't tell us anything about the game. So, I mean, I give the second trailer like a C.
I was thinking like
if
E
the
plus
trailer
C
was
minus.
good, that would have been a good second trailer. You know what I mean? But actually, I'll give it, since it was, since you do have that context in there. Like, if they made the first trailer good, I would give the second trailer A. But since it is not good, kind of thing, as the first trailer, I give that second trailer a D. Or D+.
Yeah, I was in the D+ range myself.
And the screenshots, I mean, again, there's not enough contrast on the cards. Like, if you look at screenshot A to 4, you look at that Dragon Beetle card, you can read that word evolve.
Yeah.
But you can't read everything else. And you can barely read that because it still doesn't have a lot of contrast, but it has a lot more than everything else. Everything should have more contrast than this. The other text should be darker than what this evolve text is, and this evolve text should be darker than what that is. You know what I mean?
And the text for the titles or like the actual names of everything, they don't stand out enough from the backgrounds that they're on. Like the one next to Dragon Beetle, Gore Battle Standard, I can barely make that out.
I can make it out easily, but
I feel like the letters may be a little too close to each other for some of them.
Yeah, they need more spacing in there.
Yeah, like if you look in that same screenshot,
because if you look at the space in between the R and the B, there is barely anything in there.
Yeah,
and it needs more spacing, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It definitely needs more spacing between the letters.
And here's something I find very weird. The bottom right card, Mailman, that is in all caps. And that is actually, I think, a lot easier to see. Like, I'm not sure why that one card is all caps and everything else is, just like one, first letter capitalized.
Yeah. Unless it's some kind of acronym. But it does present a mismatch right there.
Yeah, so
if you're going to do that, I would at least have a period between each of those if that is a acronym kind of thing.
Yeah. So,
but otherwise, I would match it to everything else and have one capital and rest lowercase.
So here's another problem:
the contrast on the text.
If you go to the strategic gameplay section, I was just reading this. So
where's that at?
Scroll down below. Truly free to play. Matches in Chroma play out as stories. So that was kind of confusing. I thought this was actually a story campaign. I think that's just their way of explaining how combat works. But again, I don't know what that means. Like, nothing on this store page other than the art is trying to sell me on this game.
Yeah, but the art does a dang good job.
Yeah.
And aesthetics counts for more than pretty much anything else.
But if you don't do anything with it, then it's just wasted effort.
Yeah. It's not 100% wasted, because good aesthetics with everything else bad can still net you a result. I mean, we've seen that from
Mm-hmm.
Lazy Bear games. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. So I think for me, my overall review of the store page, so much like of the grade I think relies on that art. But if
Hmm.
this is a competitive game, this is trying to sell me the next Gwent or the next Hearthstone or the next Neon Continuum, this store
Yeah.
page doesn't work. It needs gifts. I need to understand what this game is about. The only reason I wouldn't give this an F is that we've seen what an F game looks like.
I
I
would
think,
say due to the aesthetics. The aesthetics being the aesthetics and that thumbnail being its true saving graces kind of thing. I give this one, I don't know, C minus.
mm,
Because again, the thumbnail and the aesthetics hold it up so high. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
But I think they have failed horribly. You know, like if you were to ignore the aesthetics of the game and still count the thumbnail, I would say this would be a D minus or
yeah,
or an F plus kind of thing. Because I mean, they have done
nothing.
basically they have done everything wrong. The only things they have not done wrong is the thumbnail and the aesthetics that are part of the game. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That is the only things they have not screwed up. So, like, if the game looked like crap, kind of thing, then the only thing they did right was the thumbnail. And at that point, this would be an F plus. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For me, I think I'm going to put this in the D range because even with that, the art is keeping it out of the F range. Basically, like if this art wasn't that good, this would be like an F plus on the store page.
Yeah. I would say C minus D plus.
Mm-hmm.
For me.
Yeah.
So are you going D or
Yeah.
D plus?
I am going solid D for this one because I cannot imagine anyone who plays CCGs or deck building games, like seriously, would look at any on this game and want to try it from the store page.
I've never played a CCG before.
No. You don't know what card back is.
No, I don't. I've never made one or a card front or anything
Mm-hmm.
related to card games. Not making my own card game or CCG or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably the outlier here, but I'm definitely waiting to the end of the stream to hit that download button.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's because of research purposes or what, but or just because I want to see what it has and where they messed up, kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's
but, it has me wanting to check it out.
Yeah.
I put it that way.
And I think this is like the point where we say like a game like this doesn't need a lot to sell it. But it still needs something. Like really, like one or two GIFs, one or two images in this about this game section would probably bump this up to easily like a C plus B minus.
Wow. I think what I think would really bump it up is if they change that first trailer. Cut it in half and used half of it as the first and the other half as the third. I think that would have vastly changed things.
Mm-hmm. Like, not a lot needs to be done to improve on this, but this feels very much like giving, like, somebody all the best tools and stuff they need to win, and then the person just, falls right on their face, like, the second they start out.
Yeah. It's like giving them a magic hammer that all they have to do is hit it on the building, and then it's instantly complete.
And they're just, like, missing the building.
They grab it, and they pick it up, and they're like, what is this? And then they hit themselves in the head.
Mm-hmm.
And destroy their head, and it just pops.
All right. Let's move on to our last game. I think this one should be on the quicker side, but we'll see. Oh, it's not on the store page. So that's Good point there. So this one just came out today. And this
So
is...
you
What?
go ahead.
And this is a Natsuki Chronicles.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Ready to go for the first trailer?
Yep. Let's see what we
All
have.
right. Uh-oh. Mine's not working. Okay, there we go.
So we get like rain. Well, kind of getting it, but they're showing the names of everybody first.
Logo at the front, that's a red flag.
Music is, action-y, chiptune-y kind of.
Then the effects are pretty good.
I don't like the zoom in. It like makes it very hard to actually see the gameplay.
Yeah, it does. But they may just be doing that for the trailer.
Yeah.
I hope they're just doing that for the trailer.
Alright, showing you getting new weapons, that's good. I could see this being maybe like a little bit shorter. Like, what do you think? Maybe like cut 20, 30 seconds?
Yeah, and there's no real call to action at the end.
Yeah. It's not a bad trailer. I like
Yeah.
that it shows the gameplay, it shows weapon modifications, it shows some of the boss fights.
Yeah, they just showed their logo at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
their developer logo, and that's a no-no. And they did not put a call to action at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it could have been a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
Those are my main complaints right there.
Mm-hmm. Alright, let's see what the second trailer is. Oh, it's a 2-minute long one. Let's see, is this story trailer?
And they lead with their logo again,
Yeah.
and the other logo, and the from the creators of. Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's
some
a
of
third
this
logo.
some of this footage is from the first trailer, I believe. So this seems like almost like a we're going to tell you everything there is about this game trailer. Yeah, so this is definitely footage from the first part.
Yeah, some of it is,
Yeah.
which you don't want to double up on that footage.
Mm-hmm. Display mode. It's not... Like, this is definitely for the shmup fan, the second trailer. This is, like, trying to sell them. Like, they're not caring about the general consumer here. Time, auto recovery. As a second trailer, it's okay. And again, they're just really trying to show this off to somebody who already knows shmups.
Yeah.
Alright.
The font looks a little bit generic
Yeah.
compared to the game.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Not bad. Like, this one, they know who their market is and they're pushing it, heavily towards it.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like we looked at a few of the other shmups, the one that we played, the developer submitted, like, what was it, like 2-3 weeks ago, like the roguelike one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that one, I think, was more evolved. Like, this one seems like more of a standard shmup.
Yeah, it does.
Alright, so we have reviews about this game. So we have what was that?
I said, don't forget about the screenshots.
Mm-hmm. Really, not much to say about them, I think.
I think all these screenshots are in the trailer.
That's what I was about to say.
You definitely do not want that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, not only is it a developer, but it's got a publisher, Rising Star Games.
Yeah.
So, anything wrong here, marketing-wise,
Mm-hmm. And this...
that.
The store page is just kind of blah.
Yeah, the store page, the about this page, there's nothing to it, and it has one single image.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like that single image, but it needs way, way more.
Yeah, if you have a shmup, if you have a very action-focused game, you need GIFs and images.
Absolutely. You need a lot of them, too. And this has none of them. It has one still image, which should have been either, you know, what would have been cool is if they took this image and they made it into a custom header. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Every one of these bullet points should have a GIF that goes with it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
And they probably need some more bullet points.
Mm-hmm.
Or more to this than just the bullet points. There just needs to be more and GIFs.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really criticize something that's not here, though, other than criticizing for it not being there. Because, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with what they have here. There's just
more. Mm-hmm. So, like, if we compare this with Chroma, this game's aesthetic is nowhere near, I think, as strong as Chroma.
Oh, yeah,
but they do a much better job with these trailers of selling you on the gameplay.
Oh, yeah. The trailers are the best so far today.
Mm-hmm. Like, this is a case where... Oh, hopefully it didn't cut out. Did it cut out on my side? I don't see it did. But...
I don't know. I haven't had any issues on my side, I know that.
But this is a case where developer knows what their market is, and they really put that into these screenshots in the trailer.
Mm-hmm. Well, they put it into the screenshots. They didn't put it into the trailer. They didn't put it into the screenshots, though.
Mm-hmm.
Because the screenshots are just more bits from screenshots from the trailer.
Yeah.
You know, I think they completely failed horribly on their screenshots. And, you know, their trailer was not perfect or anything, but it was better than most.
It was better than what we've seen today, basically.
Yeah, it was the clear winner on trailer for what we've seen today. What do you think about the thumbnail?
It looks a little generic to me.
Yeah, I think it's workable, but it's not good. You know, it's not great or anything.
Yeah.
So are we about ready to grade this?
Yeah, I think so. Again, not a lot to really talk about here.
Yeah.
So
the thumbnail, the capsule image here, what would you give that?
I would say maybe C+, B-. What about you?
I was thinking B minus B.
Mm-hmm.
It would probably B minus.
It's not bad, but it has a nice look to it. But it's not really popping beyond that.
Yeah. And also the text is not the easiest to read, but it doesn't have to be. But it would have been nice if it was a little bit more easy.
Yeah.
And they could have done that just by giving a little bit of space between those letters.
Mm-hmm. So, trailer 1.
I think trailer 1 was fairly solid. Not great, but pretty solid. You know, it definitely knew its target audience kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It led with the logo, which is bad, and it did not have a call to action at the end.
Yeah.
I would say the first trailer is I don't know what, A minus B plus.
Mm.
What do you think?
It's not. I don't know if I could give this an A. I feel like it's not. It does too many things not correct for this kind of trailer. I would put in like the maybe B range.
Yeah.
I think, especially compared to the ones that we've seen today, like it kind of like bumps it up, I think, a little bit.
Yeah. I think it would be like a B plus or something.
Yeah, I would say B plus. Second trailer,
a lot of reused footage from the first one, so I would say that one's probably, you know, but it does add a lot more to it. Mm-hmm. I would say maybe like a C plus,
C plus B minus, I would say. Like,
Yeah.
this kind of trailer, like the second one, that's like kind of like the depth, or even going beyond that, would be what Compressor needs as a second trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Screenshots. I would give those a F minus because there's nothing new here. It's all the stuff from the other.
I mean, it's good stuff, but it's not
Yeah.
new stuff.
Yeah. It's a F minus because there basically is no screenshots. Because it's all just stuff from the trailer. Stuff you've already seen.
Yeah. Now, about the rest of this page, the actual page itself, I think I would give this like an F or a D plus.
Now that's a broad range.
Yeah.
I would go probably a D minus, D or D.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's here is good. There's just not enough of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would say probably a D.
Yeah, I would say D as well. Like, there's just, again, they know who their audience is, but this is not attracting anyone else. Like, or even trying to make somebody who's not already in this game want to buy it.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so overall, what are you thinking for this one? Thinking that that the thumbnail and the trailer has such the main weight on this as a score.
I'm thinking maybe C plus B minus.
I was thinking about a B, maybe. If they hadn't screwed up their screenshots, I would have easily gave this a B plus.
Yeah.
But they did.
Yeah.
So I would say probably a B.
Yeah, I think for me, C plus B minus. Like, it's right on that bubble, really. Like, a few more gifts would have bumped this up, would have made like an easy B for me.
Yeah, but you also have to remember that most people don't scroll down to the page.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't last that long. It takes a good trailer to get that far, and it takes a good thumbnail to even get them to this page.
Yeah. I think for me, I'll give this a C plus. I feel like it's like again, a lot of that is just on the trailer.
Yeah.
But I would say Natsuki, of the 3 games we looked at today, is the best one of the 3.
Yeah, it's the winner of the day. And what's funny is it's not best at anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the best thumbnail because that goes to Chroma. It's not, well, it is the best trailer, but it's not the best looking trailer.
Mm-hmm.
It's the screenshots it's the worst in.
Yeah. Actually, I think I may have to cut things down a little bit more. There's no information in the title page or in the title pane, and only has one genre tag.
No, it's got 5.
No, those are user defined tags.
Oh, where do you see the other?
Scroll down below Steam achievements.
Genre of action.
Yeah. So not even a shoot 'em up, arcade. Yeah, so I think my C plus may stand for me.
Yeah, I think I might downgrade mine to B minus.
Mm-hmm. And to Foreign's comment, yeah, I think $20 may be a little too high for like what we're seeing.
Yeah, I mean $20 is the new the new upcoming indie standard kind of thing, but I don't think this one can cash that check. At least not with the store page in the condition it's in.
Yeah.
If the store page was in A minus range, maybe.
Yeah.
But the fact is they've shot their stuff in the foot with their store page.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you can see that right here in the user reviews. I mean, yes, it only came out today, but we have one user review today is a very bad sign. Because I think even with my last game that only got 14 user reviews, period, I think I had like 3 or 4 user reviews on the first day.
And let's bleed them in your chat. Probably not for right now. I'm sure I will heavily review and criticize his upcoming game.
Yeah. I make the games Josh criticizes them.
And calls them pay to win. And so I think like this is a case where if this publisher is the one who developed the store page, they need to go back to school, I think, on it.
Yeah. And if they didn't, what the hell were they thinking?
Also, here's another point. If you have a publisher, your contact information should either link to the developer's Twitter and store page or information, or the publisher's Twitter and information.
And the fact is the last game, Chroma had 2 publishers on
and
it.
they didn't do any linking.
Yeah, they didn't do anything. What are you talking about? That page was an absolute disaster. The only thing that was saving that store page was the aesthetics of the game and the thumbnail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there was nothing else outside of the game and the thumbnail. There was nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, I think
publishers there, and they both screwed up.
Yeah. So I think it's kind of interesting. Like we picked, like without really thinking about it, we picked like 3 very diverse store pages for the show this week. Compressor, not the best looking game, but structurally had, I think, the best about this page. Chroma, best aesthetics, all full store page everywhere else.
Except for the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Best stuff. And then Natsuki Chronicles is sort of, average across the entire board. Except the screenshots, which I failed at, and the store page, which I got a low grade at. But they're average everywhere else.
Yeah, they basically fail, like, if this was like a driving test, or, like a test in school, they would fail, you didn't circle this in all the way. You didn't, show your work kind of part.
Where the chroma would be the blonde that's just distracting them from giving them a grade. Like, well, I'll have to give you I'll have to give you a better grade. With all this distraction. Where the first game is like the nerd that went hard in on everything, and but the teacher hated him. So he docked him points. He made a good grade in everything, but the teacher docked him points because the teacher does not like him. Because the consumers do not like him.
All right, but I think with that we can probably wrap things up for this week. Anything else you want to say before we go?
Make your store pages better,
and please include contact information.
Yeah, I mean, like, we have yet to get an A-, more or less an A or an A+ on this show. And we have done several Steam pages, and it's really sad.
Yeah, this is episode 10. At least if I did the math right.
I got episode 9 in my title. I don't know what episode it is, but according to my title, it's 9.
Yep, so we're still yet to see one. Even like we've said, even like AAA developers, like some of the worst store pages have come from AAA developers.
Yeah, that Chroma game looked like a AAA publisher, store page, selling it on the aesthetics, and that's it. kind of thing.
But that only works if people already know about you.
Yep. I mean, it still works for whatchamacallit, Chroma. But it only works to a minimum standard because their aesthetics sell so much that they were able to get those 400 something reviews, kind of thing. Which I'm sure would probably be enough reviews to make a game like the first one succeed. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be enough to make a game like Chroma or succeed. It probably wouldn't be enough to make Natsuki Chronicles succeed either. But it would probably be enough to make the first one succeed, because the first one seems like a solo developer that just kind of did it on the side kind of thing and everything. But, and he seems to have the programming side and the gameplay side down. I don't know. I haven't played it, but, from what little I could tell from the store page, it seemed that way.
Also, here's another very big tip for developers out there. I'm looking at the Chroma page right now. The last news bit that they posted on January 31st was them finally adding in a tutorial. Apparently, there was no tutorial in the game at all during its early access.
Ooh.
That is a flashing, neon, exploding red flag.
Yeah, it is.
They wait until after release to do the tutorial. Haven't we said you do the first parts of your game as the very last things in it?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, you don't want to put a tutorial in there and then have everything change and then have the tutorials completely change, because that's the issue you have with games like what's that one where you build the things that you really bounced off of?
Besiege?
Yeah, that, where they built the tutorial right at the beginning, then they completely changed everything, and the tutorial didn't mean anything at that point, but the tutorial was still there. I mean, it would have been better to not have a tutorial after that point.
Yeah, but again, if your game is 1.0, you can't be adding tutorials after 1.0.
Yeah, and even if your game isn't 1.0, you should have some kind of onboarding, like surely some stuff that is not going to change. Like your core gameplay loop, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because if you don't have your core gameplay loop down, then it's way too early to go early access.
Yeah.
Way too early.
All right. But I think with that, we will wrap things up for this week's show. So as always, if you are a developer working on a game that you would like us to take a look at, either on my weekly dev streams or my weekly indie developer streams, or for the next episode in the inquiries, please get in touch. But again, my Twitter is at GW Bycer. There are links to it in the description down below.
Yeah, and if you're looking to play good CCGs, that are better than Chroma, hopefully, with better store pages than it, certainly, and you want to see it being made, come join my YouTube channel, watch it being made, come, join our Discord and everything, get, access to a lot of content there, including the, early, playable versions, as well as, you get to enter in dev chats and everything in our Discord once every month. And, also come to the YouTube channel for other content, like, our 2 podcasts that we do together, and my once a week dev streams, where you get to see me make Neon Continuum. And of course, at any time, I'm open to questions,
And if you want more discussions about game development and game design, tune into our Sunday show, the Safely Extreme podcast. That is done around 4:30. And these shows are recorded live Thursdays around 3:30 ET. All right. Other than that, do the liking, subscribing, all that social media stuff people like to say.
They gotta lick the smash button.
Exactly.
Lick the smash button, everybody.
All right. So with that, we will be back next week for another episode, and I'll be back later tonight for our regular game streams. And when do you stream for people to watch?
Pretty much every time except for the Safely Stream podcast. It's at 2 p.m. And we do normally do one on Tuesday, although I am debating canceling that one or changing it drastically. I'm unsure. And then Fridays, Saturdays, and it's Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays.
All right.
Of course, Sunday one is the one at 3, not 2.
All right. So with that, we're going to end things for this week's episode. As always, come back for daily discussions on game design here and on game wisdom, where we examine the art and science of games. Until next time, take care.
See ya.